Did you know the old saying, you are what you think? There's a hospital, it's called the Children's Attitudinal Hospital. It concentrates on cases for children who are suffering from traumatic diseases or from severe accidents that have disabled them. It is a remarkable place with a unique philosophy. Rather than the children simply being patients or victims, needing professionals to attend to them, the children are encouraged to take responsibility for their own healing and for the healing of other children. And as a result of this, the community of love and concern which brings healing has developed. There's a newspaper article about this hospital saying, "We feel that much healing takes place by asking one simple question. Do I want to have peace of mind and the peace of God, or do I want to experience conflict? If I want to experience peace of mind, I will choose to extend my love to others and experience that love as it extended back to me. If I want to experience conflict, I will want something to evaluate why I'm not getting it." The purpose of the hospital is to stimulate attitudinal healing that enables children to triumph over their adversity. The hospital has a marvelous saying, "If you can help somebody else, you are not disabled." You know, my brothers and sisters, there's a huge reminder in this word from the Apostle Paul in today's reading. He says that we are shaped by the way we think. And if we want to think on things that are positive, just, true, commendable, those things will have a deep influence on how we live our lives. And so I ask you a very simple question in these brief moments. What has shaped the way you think? Paul says this to this group at Philippi because he knows they've had some differences of opinion. There were two ladies in the church who had a disagreement with each other. And he just says, I just would hope and pray that you could be of the same mind. That doesn't mean that he necessarily says that you'll agree on every little thing. This world and all of its problems is not depending on us all somehow getting on the same page. That is never going to happen. What it has to do with is our ability to respect each other and love each other in spite of our differences. Paul says something that almost gets missed. He mentioned these two ladies, and then he says to the whole church, remember, their names are written in the book of life. In other words, they're going to make it into heaven someday. There's a marvelous book by C.S. Lewis. It's entitled The Great Divorce. It's a fantasy book. A fantasy book about a group of people who get on this bus, and the bus is going from hell to heaven. And the door of the bus stops and the door opens, and this person gets on the bus, and somebody in the back says, I cannot believe that that person is getting on this bus going to heaven. They certainly shouldn't be here. Well, this person is so taken back by this that they finally say, if that person is getting on this bus, then I'm getting off. Now, the funny thing in C.S. Lewis' book is that there's only one other bus, and it's going to hell. Someone went out of church and told me the following story. They said, I have a family member who told me one time that if there were black people in heaven, they weren't sure they wanted to go. That same person was transferred by their company, and in their new position and in their new job, their boss was a black person. And they became the best of friends. My friends, I don't know what has shaped your thinking, but I urge you to hear these words from Scripture today that call for us to think of things that are lovely and just and true and compassionate and kind. I beg of you, for the sake of the world and for the sake of the sanity of humanity, do not hate your fellow human being. Just remember that God has a sense of humor. And you may spend the first 10,000 years of eternity seated beside somebody in heaven that you liked the least when you were on earth. God does have a sense of humor, my friends.